Welcome to the latest edition of 68 Shining Moments presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Today, we talked to former BYU star Danny Ainge about his incredible coast-to-coast game winner in the 1981 NCAA tournament. All right, now pleased to welcome in one of the heroes of the 1981 NCAA tournament. Long time ago, Danny Ainge, long time ago. You didn't have gray hair back then. You had a good-looking head of hair back then.
It's only 40 years, Jeff. 40 years. Wow. That sounds like a long time ago.
Yeah, you moved quickly up and down the court back then. Listen, we'll get to that final play soon. But first, take me back to that BYU team. And when you saw the brackets that day come out, and it was different then. It wasn't 68 teams. It wasn't 64 teams. When you drew Princeton and saw kind of your region, what was your thought? Because you guys went in with high expectations with a really good team that wasn't just you, Fred Roberts, Greg Kite. I mean, you had some talent on that team.
Yeah, we did have some talent. We had a couple of guys that had 12-year NBA careers. I had a 14-year career. We had Steve Craig, who was a terrific player, was the Southern California High School Athlete of the Year, was a great athlete. We had Scott Runia, who was a fantastic shooter and played pro ball overseas for a while. Steve Trumbo had a cup of coffee in the NBA and played a career over in Barcelona. Yeah, we had a lot of talented guys. Greg Baloff was also a very good player, made a lot of big shots for us in the year. But we had a stacked team. We're a top-ranked team, a highly ranked team for a stretch of that year. And but when I looked at the bracket and I saw Princeton, they're always a little scary to play against with the Princeton offense and how slow the game is. But we were used to playing against teams that slowed the game down. That was pre-shot clock era, and one of our biggest frustrations, because we were a high-powered scoring team and one of the top scoring teams in the country. Most of our years at BYU, our coach Frank Arnold coached under John Wooden for 9 years, also coached at University of Oregon, head coach there for a while, and got the head job at BYU and really wanted to play with pace and play up tempo. So, so Princeton was a concern, and then we were if we beat Princeton, we have to play UCLA, and UCLA I think they had 7 guys play in the NBA off of that roster, and we're a highly ranked team with Larry Brown as their head coach. And so that was our first challenge. But yeah, then we saw Notre Dame on there and Virginia.
You beat the heck out of UCLA though, Danny, right? You beat the heck out of UCLA. That game wasn't even close, was it?
Yeah, well, a crazy story about that is, I'm doing shoot around the day before the Princeton game in Providence, Rhode Island, and I go to pick up a ball and my back spasms, and I'm like in bed the entire rest of the day. I can't go through practice. I can't do anything. We've got doctors calling me from all over the world and trying to figure, as this has become news. Can you imagine the news it would be today? But back then it just got out that I was questionable for the game. The next day, I couldn't get out of bed. I was in so much pain. I couldn't move. So the doctor gave me a muscle relaxer in the morning and then again at lunch, but I couldn't. There's just no way I was going to be able to play. So I go over to the arena, which we just walked to the arena, and I didn't even bring my uniform or my shoes or anything. I'm just going to go watch the game. And I'm sitting in the tunnel while my team is out, in the locker room. I'm just standing there watching Georgetown play, and the adrenaline is pumping. Like, this just is like too much. I give a kid, one of the managers there, my key to my room. Go get my bag. Go get my shoes. Doctor, give me one more muscle relaxer.
Load me up.
And I'm like warming up, just very tentative and just like still not sure I'm gonna play. And then the game started, and the adrenaline just got me through that game. And the next day I woke up and I couldn't move again, and I was in a lot of pain. And then, but by the next day, by Saturday, we played UCLA, and I was 100%. I just like my back spasms had cleared up, and I was ready to go. And I still put a lot of heat on my back, but I had one of the best games of my college career in that second game.
It's that time of the year again, folks. Conference tournaments are tipping off. Bubble teams making their final push for a bid, while the best teams in the country are gearing up for a deep run. Auto bids will be punched. Slippers will be fit. And our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook, are putting my listeners at the center of the action. If you bet $4 on an underdog in a select game this week, and that underdog wins, you win $256. That's right, $256. Here's how it works. Download the app now. Use that promo code FIELD68 when you sign up. Again, FIELD68 when you sign up. Scroll through the list of select underdogs, bet $4 on them to win, and cash out a whopping $256 when they do. There's no better way for you to put your college hoops knowledge on display than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. So remember, that's the code FIELD68. Again, FIELD68 to turn $4 into $256. For a limited time only, you must be 21 years or older. Restrictions apply. Go to DraftKings.com for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's crazy. Crazy. I didn't know that at all. So, all right. So you get through UCLA, and now you got a Notre Dame team that is loaded. I mean, loaded, right? Kelly Tripucka, you got John Paxson, right? Woolridge was on that team. I mean, they were absolutely loaded.
They had five first-round NBA draft picks. Wow. Tracy Jackson, who the Celtics drafted. They had Joe Klein, who was on that team. And, then they had, I'm trying to think of the name of that. They had a freshman point guard, I think, Sluby, Tom Sluby. I think he was a second-round pick. He was a freshman that year, but he was a good player, a good athletic kid, and big and strong for a point guard. But anyway, it was a very, very talented team and very well coached by Digger. Digger did a really good job with that team. And but that game was interesting because we couldn't guard Woolridge and Tripucka. They were good.
Yeah. And
no coincidence. Those guys were both. Kelly, I think, averaged 26.5 points a game in the NBA.
Yeah, they could score.
And Woolridge, 22 or 23 points a game by the time he got to the NBA. So those guys were fantastic players. And Paxson, we know his championship pedigree in Chicago. And then, but they did us a favor. I thought they ran a box and one. I had a big game against UCLA, the game in 4. And so they ran a box and one against me. And it was really tough to get shots. Yep. And I was just
Paxson
trying to.
On you? They had Paxson on you the whole game? Paxson
was on me the whole game. And whenever I caught it, there was a double team. And so I didn't get that many shots. And, it was a very low scoring game for, having
51-50.
9, I think it was for having 9 NBA players
who could score, guys who could score,
and 2 high-powered scoring teams with talent. It was a 51-50 game, and part of that was because Kite and Roberts picked up their 4th fouls with a lot of minutes to go, 15 or 16 minutes to go in the second half, and they were up 13.
Wow!
So with no shot clock, they just decided to milk it. Now we're trying to figure out how are we going to stop, Woolridge and Tripucka without our best defensive players on the court. And, they're trying to milk the clock and keep the ball away from us. And I remember our coach calling timeout like it was not 40 years ago. It feels like it was closer to 10 or 20 years ago. And I remember him saying, he goes, "We've got this. They are playing right into our hands. Be patient. It's going to take a long time, but don't make stupid fouls. Don't turn the ball over. Don't rush your shots when you get the ball back." But anyway, he was just so confident that we could come back because they were actually trying to stall the game out.
Which you did. And then right to Tripucka hits a shot with about 10 seconds left from the corner that gives him the lead. What are you thinking at that moment? Do you remember?
Yeah. Oh, heavens, yes. I remember, first of all, before that shot, Greg Baloff, one of our senior guards, he hits a top of the key jumper to put us up one. And, we had been down that whole time. And there was this like, all right, like we're actually ahead in this game. Now we just got to go get a stop on Notre Dame, which obviously was, they're stacked. But we forced Tripucka into a tough 20-foot fadeaway jump shot, maybe 18 feet, and drains it. And now there's 8 seconds left in the game, and we call timeout. And in college, back then, still you got to go full length of the court. And so, because I had been a box and one the whole game, getting double teamed the whole time, my whole purpose was to get the ball down the court as quick as I could, try to create a double team and find the open man, and hope that guy can make the shot, whoever that may be, and whoever is the open guy. So that's what I did. I ran around, caught the ball, dribbled up the court, and as I dribbled up the court, I was going full speed, so it was hard for them to put the trap. And I was weaving in and out the court and got all the way to the rim and shot a little finger roll up over Woldridge, and the game was over. And that was just a unbelievable game.
How was it drawn up? Was it just drawn up, hey, get you the ball and go? And obviously, if you can get all the way to the basket, great. But I assume you didn't think you'd get all the way there.
No, I didn't. I mean, I really anticipated just pushing as hard as I could, and there would be, a big man and 2 guys preventing me from getting shot, and I would end up having to kick it to someone else. And part of my mind, like if I can pull up, from 20 or 25 feet, and take a shot, if I get a good look and good rhythm, but I really was anticipating just pushing it up, and I was going to be forced to give the ball up, but they never were able to get the ball out of my hands, and we were very fortunate.
Yeah, you hit the shot with 2 seconds left, and I think then you forgot you might have to play a little defense after that, right?
Yeah, but in those days the clock kept running, so right. 2 seconds goes to 1 second. Yeah. And by the time the guy, I think while the pass was in the air, the clock went out. So
didn't matter. What was it like? I mean, did you understand the magnitude of that and that shot forever being in NCAA tournament lore? I mean, that's one of the most memorable shots ever.
I don't, you're not thinking that. You're just trying to win a game. And, since then, yeah, I've had so many people to ask me about that shot, and, I love you because you beat Notre Dame, or I hate you because you beat Notre Dame. And, I've heard just about everything through that whole experience. But, it's a very memorable time. The NCAA tournament is always fun. Winning big games. Notre Dame was I think the 5th or 6th rated team in the country at that time, and a very stacked team that I had a great deal of respect for. The first time I ever ran into Kelly Tripucka was, we didn't play AAU in my era, but we did have a big AAU tournament in Boca Raton, Florida. And that was when I was first introduced to Kelly Tripucka, who, from New Jersey, and 6'6", 200 pounds, strong guy, was really dynamic player. And so we had an amazing amount of respect for them and who they could be. And we knew it was a huge win.
Any crazy stories after that shot? Anything crazy happen to you? Anything memorable that you'll never forget? I mean, obviously you had another big game right after, so you didn't have like a week to celebrate or anything like that. You had good old Ralph Sampson waiting for you.
Yeah, we had Ralph Sampson and Jeff Lamb, but waiting for us. They're a great team at the ACC, but yeah, not really. I mean, it's a game that we still talk about, and it was a big victory for our program, and very memorable experience.
The only Elite Eight appearance in BYU history still.
Oh, is that right? I didn't even know that.
I believe so.
That could be.
Well, listen, I appreciate you taking us through it. One of the more memorable moments in NCAA tournament history. I don't think you can go. You think you can go full length now in 6 seconds?
I probably cannot. I'd
Might
probably
be
need 8.5.
I'd say about 16 instead of 6. I don't know. We'll time you. We'll have crew time you and see how long it takes you to get from one baseline to the basket there.